you're coming or going.
So, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Being Your Own CEO Success Circle. We get together because we enjoy each other's company, we like experimenting, and sometimes we even do a little business together. So, this session is always done with the idea of supporting solopreneurs. And this morning, we're going to talk about how to create and run a success circle. So,
I'm not,
David, you're
yeah,
waving.
I'm not getting any sound through YouTube or through this.
Really? It's showing sound.
David, you are muted.
Yes.
I don't know if it's my computer or if it's. Um,
It's OBS is showing that there is sound going out. So, um, that's interesting. So while David messes with his system, this morning I thought I would just ask everyone to introduce themselves. So, Vivek, you were here first, so you're it.
Namaste. My name is Vivekanand. I am proud to share my belief with Steve Jobs and Leonardo da Vinci, who said simplicity is the ultimate in sophistication. I aim to bring time tested wisdom and happiness together into your business and life by unifying, simplifying, and amplifying simple technology and tools. Wake Technology is my company. Together, let us wake up our potential. So that's my intro. Um, I am in England, UK. We are facing a second lockdown. So that's how things are here. So, yeah.
I think you're not alone. I think there two of our provinces here in Canada are in the midst of just about to do another lockdown as well. So I think we're in the second wave.
Hmm.
So, um, okay, David, are you able to hear us now?
I
No.
can hear through the Zoom quite fine. I'm not hearing it through the YouTube or the website feed, but Javita's online and she says she can hear perfectly. So it's got to be my system somehow. It's set up on the wrong speakers. Um,
Okay.
I'm
Yeah,
Dave.
I tried your website and it seems to be okay.
Okay. Good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Um,
Um,
it looks the way it should as I look at OBS. So right on. So
um,
you are the second one here. You're it.
Okay, I'm Dave Flannery with Affordable Websites for Small Businesses. Um, I make websites for small businesses and help them have a web presence. I'm in Rock Falls, Illinois, and we're streaming good, so I'm good to go.
Right on. And you're looking forward to the debate tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Some of us are looking forward to it too.
I, I, I don't drink, but I think I'm going to come up with a drinking game on this one.
Right. So,
So any
Paul.
su- so any suggestions on what we can um, listen for would be greatly appreciated.
Right. Right on. So, you're it, Paul.
Thanks, LowellAnn. I'm in LowellAnn's hood just around the corner, and it's beaming out to be a nice day here.
Mm.
Uh, my company is TTG International Management, and all businesses start with an idea, and the idea becomes the journey of your business. And along the way, sometimes you need some heavy lifting. Just think of us as your Sherpas when you need a little guidance and a little heavy lifting to be done.
Ha. Right on. That's a little different, Paul. That's
Oh
neat.
yeah, you gotta change things up.
Right.
Life is boring if you don't.
So glad you made it here. And Fred, how about you? You're home again.
Yeah, my nomadic life brings me back to the Victoria area. But I'm Fred Jones, the creator of Our Future Leaders, where I work with groups of young people to help them uh, improve their communication skills, leadership skills, so they can become the leaders that our world definitely needs with all these
Mm-hmm.
changes in these interesting times.
Mm-hmm.
As I said, I'm in Victoria at the moment, or in actually closer to Langford, which is where Jay hangs out
Mm-hmm.
at the moment. Although I'll probably be moving to the boat in Ladysmith up Island end of October.
Oh, right
So
on.
that's the plan at the moment.
Mm-hmm. Oh, right on. Oh,
But
so are the
I really, I think what's really working for me is working with Agora Speakers International and communicating with people in India, Nepal,
mm,
Indonesia, and Singapore, where they're working with young people. And it's
mm,
really exciting to me at the moment.
mm-hmm.
That's my excitement at this time.
Right. My friend, my walking friend, mentioned some. She's a Girl Guide leader, and she mentioned a trend. So remind me later to share that trend with you. I think you might find it interesting. Yeah. So Lana, just in time. How would you like to introduce yourself?
Sorry. Hello, everyone. My name is Alana, and my company is ALB Digital Marketing Solutions, where I help people build small websites, manage them, and write content for them.
Hmm, right on. So, how are things in Ireland?
Oh, getting a little chilly. There's definitely a nip in the air.
Hmm. Yes, fall is here, isn't it?
Yeah, fall is definitely here. Well, October's on Thursday, so it's about
Yeah,
time.
yeah, right on. So glad you made it.
Thank you.
So, um, do you know when you were saying the name of your company, I realized that I probably have never used the name of my company when I introduce myself. Maybe I ought to. My company is called Workstyle Lifestyle Consulting, and that was a title chosen back in the late 90s. So, and I have two websites, beingyourownCEO.com and LowellAnn.com. And I really enjoy helping retirees create an online business. So, and yes, I'm in Victoria, BC. City of Flowers, it's often called. And usually it's quite a tourist town, city. It is the capital of British Columbia, but boy, we haven't seen many tourists here this summer. It's been walking down around the inner harbor has been a really interesting experience this summer. So, folks, Vivek, oh, he's muted himself. I was just going to suggest that he share a screen.
Yeah, I just had to get some water so that
Uh,
during the presentation I don't have to. Anyway, yeah,
right on.
here we go. Let me.
So, Vivek is going to share my presentation uh, for you so that it shows up. Oh, just a second now. I'm just getting my notes ready. So, this, I might, by way of context, say that this presentation is based on a blog that I wrote back in 2016. So basically what I did was I took the the blog post and turned it into a presentation. So the introduction kind of said, well, if you're a solopreneur and working from a home office alone, you don't experience the advantages of working as part of a team, and so you may have a life partner that kind of gives you access as a sounding board and maybe gives you feedback on things, but I guess I would say your life partner is unable to be as objective perhaps as other people. So it's always good to have some connections with other business people who are bound to be kind of more objective. So Vivek, can you go to the next, please? Thank you. So back in the 30s, 1937, Think and Grow Rich. Napoleon Hill wrote a book, and the idea of a mastermind was introduced in that book. And his contention was that no successful person has ever done it alone. And he talked about the purpose of a mastermind group was to support and encourage each other emotionally, personally, and professionally. And today we hear a lot more different titles for the mastermind. A few that I can think of: peer mentoring, the dream team, for us, the success circle. And some of you might be interested, some of you may remember, but some of you may be interested to know that when I started this circle, we did call it a mastermind group. And throughout the discussion, somewhere along the way, somebody said, that's an outdated term. Why don't we try a new term? So that's why we now call ourselves a success circle. So Vivek, could you advance? Thank you. I would say a success circle is usually comprised of 5 or 8 or 10 people, and it serves as a forum for giving and receiving supportive suggestions and creating supportive relationships and enacting positive change, removing stumbling blocks, creating stepping stones. These are all terms that you've heard me say at one time or another. So, and this is accomplished by sharing ideas and resources and knowledge and spiritual energy. Sometimes it's by brainstorming together. Sometimes it's seeking and receiving feedback, and sometimes it's just discussing meaningful topics, maybe good books, business tools that we've stumbled on. We sometimes explore just, the everyday business challenges, and sometimes we even hold each other accountable. So, do you want to go next, Vivek? So, so basically what you're seeing here is a slide that has been part of our success circle a long time, and I shared it here because I know that most of you who come inside rarely see this, because this is an outro or intro that I play through the OBS. And so you folks rarely get to see this. So I thought you might find it interesting to see it here. So it does show up at the beginning of any of the YouTube videos. So next. So now I really wanted to talk about some of the things that success, that ensure success, I guess is the best way to say it. So we need to select the right people. People who are not like you, to ensure that you have a sort of a broader perspective. Now, I need to sort of clarify that one just a little bit. There have been some groups that get together, and Paul, you probably can remember what we call those. I mean, they were groups, small groups of people that got together, and the rules in those were that you could only have one person in representing one type of a business. And the purpose was to not create any competition, to recognize that you, in your small group, you wouldn't have a competition. Paul, can you remember what those were called?
Most of those are lead clubs. Things like BNI.
Yes.
Originally, some of the sort of fraternal organizations like Rotary had that same model, but most of those have disappeared. Not all of them. It's still prominent in lead clubs.
So. So in a kind of way, I mean, even if you look at our group here, we're all solopreneurs. However, we all have a somewhat slightly different slant in what we do. And so even though there are some similarities, there certainly are some differences as well. So another item that determines success is that it's good to have a mixture of people who are already there. In other words, they've already set up and they've been going for a long time, and then also have some people who are just starting out, so that there's a nice sharing of expertise and encouragement, etc. And we've already said people outside of your field, people who can benefit from the skills and knowledge of others, people who have common core values, such as trust and integrity, tolerance, understanding, cooperation, growth, caring, commitment, synergy, mutuality. Those are some of the qualities that, if people have those qualities, it makes for a successful team or success circle. So another determinant of success is the commitment of the members. This means that if you're part of a mastermind or a success circle, that you build it into your schedule, and that way, you're showing that you're committed to the other members of the group, and so that commitment, and I have to say that those pictures that you saw earlier um, show the kind of the number of people that have shown up on a regular basis here. Um, so something has happened, and I've lost my notes. Isn't that interesting? Let me see if I can pull it up. There it is. There. So another thing that I think is really important for success is developing a mini charter that spells out the ground rules um, and allows you to kind of make sure that everybody knows what those ground rules are, when, where, how often you're going to meet, how long, etc. And sometimes even what kinds of things we will talk about and any leadership responsibilities. And certainly it's important to kind of be really clear on your purpose. And another piece would be participating with respect and thoughtfulness, inclusion and openness and honesty. I liked a phrase, and I don't remember anymore where I got this phrase. It may have even been from the book. Listening with attention, speaking with intention. And a facilitator who sets the agenda and keeps the group on topic and respecting time frames. I do try, but sometimes I'm not sure I'm 100% successful on that one. So, okay. Vivek, can you go with the next one? So now what you're seeing, it's in pretty small print so I could get it all on one. But these are our operating principles. And over the years, we have discussed these a few times. And they are listed on every post on my website, on the Being Your Own CEO website. So you can see that I have identified those principles that others have offered, and I've identified who offered them, and I felt that was an important thing to do. So next, Vivek. So something else that I think is really important is asking others to share, what to ask them to share. So could they bring an example of a wonderful book they've been reading, or a process that you've worked with successfully? You could share a business issue that you would like support or feedback on, or an issue that you would like some brainstorming on. Maybe a brochure draft, or a marketing idea that, or some ideas about what you could do next. Maybe an honest report of how you were doing or how you did last month. Achieving your goals and your intentions for the month. Sharing the successes. It's always nice to share a success, as well as something that didn't work so well, because other people perhaps can learn from your mistakes. So that, I think that's these are some things that now I have to share something here. This is part of my experience of working with I think it was way back at the very beginning, I used to host a mastermind around my dining room table. And from very much from a coaching perspective. These were coaching clients that felt like they needed additional support. And so I hosted that around my dining room table. And it seemed that that group were really interested in their own accountability. I set these goals for last month, and this is what I was able to achieve. I discovered that once I went online and began to do the Success Circle online, that people were less willing to do that. They were less willing to share their own personal stories or their personal agendas, shall we say. So I don't know what, I think it might be worthwhile to stop and hear what the others think about that. Whether a success circle, especially if you know it's going to be recorded, whether it is a good idea to have to share your own goals, your successes, and not so successes. I don't want to say failures. Anybody have any comments about that, David?
Yeah, I go back to what we discussed last week. You don't discuss things on the internet that you don't want public.
Mm-hmm.
And people sometimes don't want to share their goals because they're private and in such a public nature, as opposed to around the circle at your home. You feel less vulnerable to,
Yeah.
you don't know who's going to see this, whereas on the table you know who's seeing it, and
Yes.
it's not going
Yeah.
it's not going to go very far.
Yeah. And so therefore it's not I guess we worry and think about competition, our competitors as well. And so if we share something, a competitor might jump in there and do something that could jeopardize our own success. Any other comments about that?
I think it depends a lot on the person.
Mm-hmm.
If you're confident in your ideas and you want to be held accountable for them, the broader you put them out there, the more accountable you are.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
And so often I think the reluctance to do that may stem from the fact that they're more aspirational
Mm-hmm.
than goals,
Mm-hmm.
particularly at the beginning of things. So it's sometimes hard to put it out there with the confidence that you have when you've been around, say, as long as some of us have, and these things have matured and developed. We're pretty sure about what we're doing, or we wouldn't,
Mm-hmm.
we wouldn't be pursuing them as
Mm-hmm.
hard as we do. So it's I think it's a personal thing.
That's a good point. Well, and the thing was that I noticed from a coaching perspective that a lot of people go to coaching because they want to be held accountable. Even though when somebody comes to coaching, they don't want to be hit over the head or whatever, but they just know that if they're going to be talking with a coach, that the coach is going to say, "How did that go?" And that builds in a bit of accountability. And so I guess that part of that was built into the dining room table mastermind as well. So I saw somebody else waving. Was that you, Alana?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that if you think you have information that can help others and you know it's being recorded, then as long as it's not too personal and it's kind of designed, like for if I'm having a problem meeting goals or whatever I'm doing in my business, if I think what I'm going through may help someone else, I think it's good to share that, as long as it's not too personal and impinges too much on your business's privacy.
Yeah. Yeah, so the and in a sort of a way, what we're doing with each other is sharing to help each other, and with the idea we might be helping somebody watching the video later as well. So certainly from a helping perspective. Yeah. Right.
I think entrepreneurship is very much like fishing, whereas helping each other trying to catch fish to a certain extent. You don't want to give away your honey hole. So when someone asks you, well, how did you do that? You can tell them a little bit, but so yeah, but where did you catch the fish? Well, it was right here. So, and that's pretty much the limit of you don't want to give away the true secret as to what you want to do.
You're reminding me, Jay, you're reminding me of my time living up north, where I quickly learned it was considered really bad taste and bad manners to ask a woman where her cranberry patches were.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I'm reading this. In all seriousness, I'm reading this book. And there's a quote in there that kind of really resonated with me and said, when we tune out the opinions, expectations, and obligations of the world around us, we begin to hear ourselves. And I just found that really pretty profound, whereas, you can, because I think there's a lot of obligation, as you become more successful, there's a lot of people that almost expect you to deliver information as to how you did it. How did you do it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And by all means, I think it's a great way to give someone a path. But if you just simply replicate what that person is doing, that doesn't mean you're going to guarantee success or you're going to excel in what they did, because that's their path. Very similar to, as you said, with coaching, you don't want to tell people what to do. You want to just lay some bricks and let them figure out their own path.
Yes. Yeah.
So
you don't want to deny who that other person is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 2 books I'm reading. One is Think Like a Monk by Jay Shetty, Shetty, and The Ride of a Lifetime by Robert Iger, who's the former president of Disney.
Oh,
fantastic book! Book.
Thank you for the shares.
Mm-hmm.
Right on. So Vivek, can you go further? Okay, thank you. So if you are meeting in a physical space, it's important to set the chairs up in such a way in a circle so that everyone can see everyone. But if you're meeting electronically, Zoom or Skype or Meet or whatever, we want to ensure that everyone is participating equally so that no one feels they are being left out. And we need to be sure to take the time for introductions and to set the circle by inviting people to share something of themselves, and to ensure that everyone present has the opportunity to contribute. So, and also to ensure that nobody takes up all of the airtime. So it's also really important to end the meeting with some sort of a closure exercise such as inviting people to state what they are taking away. And that's something we've always given the honor to Fred, because he's always been so good at having the last word. But as you can see by this slide, inclusion is really important. So next. So and again, this I posted this just to break up the text a little bit and to acknowledge the people who've been coming. And these are some members who have attended or do attend on a regular basis. So Vivek, can you go forward? Okay. So I mean, that's basically really all I wanted to say about the setting it up and what it's about and what it means and how to make it successful. But I just wanted to say that one of the ways that I have put this forward is that there's always a Google form on my website, where if somebody would like to be part of this group, either as a viewer or as a participant, they can fill in that form and receive the automatic notifications. So I guess the way I would like to leave the conversation is, again, if anybody has anything they would like to add, but I think there is a part of the question that I didn't address, and I realized that I didn't, and that was, so yes, you've got a success circle, but how do you attract people to want to come and do it? And as I thought back through the years that I've been doing this, there have been a number of ways that people just kind of came. Jay, I think you remember way back, and Jay and Paul both, we belonged to a local meetup group, and we shared that this is what we were doing, and people were welcome, and people came as a result of that. Probably to begin with as a way of showing support. Then as time went on, others came in and heard about, etc., etc. And I just kind of thought I would like to leave us all with the idea that maybe it's time that we all went out and shared the fact that this circle is here and what might be the personal benefit, and to challenge each other to put some invitations out so that we can grow our circles. So that's kind of where I wanted to leave off the story and see whether, and Vivek, you can come back to the we can come back to the group now. If you can stop screen sharing there. So we are showing the full screen now on OBS. So I wondered what your thoughts are. What about attracting new people? Do we need new people? Are we happy with the way we're going? Is there anything that we should add to our operating principles? We have raised that. I have raised that a number of times, but there was a period way back when we talked about those operating principles more deeply than we have recently. We've kind of changed our ideas. We talked about reducing the amount of time, reducing the ability for people to introduce themselves and to have me introduce. What I've tended to do recently is if there aren't too many of us, then I let everybody introduce themselves. But if there are quite a few, I try to do the introductions so that we try to save some time. And we did talk, this is quite a while ago, a few months ago, where we said, well, if we reduce down to a half an hour of the recording, then that would leave us another half an hour to interact and share our discoveries. And there was a while there where we all sort of had some discoveries, and then I discovered that nobody had any discoveries. So, so I'm throwing this all out, and so now I'm wondering how the rest of you react.
I think in view of the present situation, which is, of course, there are people who say that it's not, it's all going back to normal and all that, which I don't agree with. It's not going to go back to what it was.
Mm-hmm.
I suspect it's going to continue. I mean, the way the way we do our business has to change, and a lot of it is going to be online and like this, interacting with people.
Mm-hmm.
So online communities will gain more importance, will gain more. So I agree. I think we do need a lot more people, and I think that it is going to happen, whether we want it or not. So that's my thinking.
Mm-hmm. Now, I was invited to somebody, like a former guest we had here. She's starting up a group, and she invited me to come to it. But unfortunately, she decided to do it at the same time as we're doing this. So I said, well, if you change your mind in terms of when you want to do what you're doing. I don't think she's broadcasting. I think it's just a Zoom meeting that she's doing. But hearing what you're saying, Vivek, about online communities being more and more important, I keep hearing people saying, I'm zoomed out. I'm so tired of doing Zooms that I'm zoomed out. Then you hear people calling that COVID fatigue. So it does kind of make you, it makes me question.
I would say, sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna kind of reply to that, saying I think that's with people who haven't been online and before COVID, you know. So I mean, my life is online, so so I don't. I'm not. You know, I'm not tired of working from home because that's how I started that before all this happened.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not tired of Zooming because I mean I've been doing the Zoom or at least the online thing or the webinar thing for I don't know how long now. 10 years.
13, Jay.
13? Oh my
It's
God.
13,
Oh,
13 or 14.
good Lord. So yeah, so it's not my first pony show, so.
Well, and I have to say, I agree with you. Like, I don't find it difficult either. I don't get zoomed out. And as a matter of fact, I would say, for me, my relationship with some of you folks is what has helped me through all of this. I mean, the times that we've over and above this success circle, the times that we've had conversations and we've gotten together and done some work together, has really made life enjoyable. So, yeah, I think you might be right, Jay. If we were into this before the COVID hit, but we do hear a lot of people saying that they're zoomed out. Yeah.
I think people are tired of gossiping around the water cooler.
I suppose some people are too much worried about their image.
No.
So they are they think they feel that during a Zoom session they have to act in a certain way, and that acting definitely will zoom you out. Yes, because you can't act forever. So
Well,
whereas if you are natural and that's what you do, and you don't care, I mean, if you if the sentences sometimes don't really make sense, still you are okay with it.
I think the quality of the meeting too has a lot to do with it. I find some of the things I get invited to, I go there and I think, why are the people here? Your group has sort of a defined, I know why I come every week. I get invitations to other things. I'm thinking, why are these people here? And that may be just my perspective of why they're there, but it's like any group. I think you become selective. I think the fact that there's so much more of it, people are finding their path through this at the current time.
Knowing why you're there, that's interesting. Well, Vivek, when you're talking about your image, I'm the first one to say I never go online without combing my hair and putting my face on. It's my rule.
Me too, girlfriend.
Yeah, I too need my lipstick and
You guys,
hair and,
cut it out.
Well, since I've been the real estate agent, it's like when there was times before when I didn't, I would be all dirty from working under a car. I'd go someplace and didn't care what I looked like. Now, every time I'm putting on a nice clean shirt, I'm watched up from what I'm doing. The same way with Zoom, I make sure I have a good, a decent shirt on, and usually a decent hat. Today, my other hat's in the wash, so. But and it's appropriate. The Cubs are playing in the playoffs, so I make sure that I look presentable.
Well,
that just means it's not coming off until they win, right?
Yeah, I know.
Well, we've got three.
It's a good idea. I'll have to remember that.
We've got 3 people in here with hats on this morning, so you're either your hair is a mess or something.
Well, no, what happens is if I take my hat off, the brightness of the would shine so much that you guys wouldn't be able to see me. It'd blind you.
The reflection.
My motto is only the
because the light reflects off here.
Oh, you guys.
I'm saying it as it is.
Vivek knew what I'm talking about. So does Paul.
Oh dear.
I don't know your hell, so.
Well, but somebody always has a comment about your hairdo on Friday night.
Yes.
So.
Yes, they do.
So there you go.
Yeah, I even said a couple of webinars ago, there was someone that had mentioned in a review that I needed to shave.
Oh, really?
I mean, it was a 10-star review, but they said, "Yeah, I need a shave. You need a shave." It's like, all right.
Well,
at least they were paying attention.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah,
I thought that was part of your image.
Yeah, exactly. Disheveled.
No, isn't that the new look, kind of the grunge look or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah, heroin chic, right? From a guy's perspective.
One thing I have observed is some of these popular YouTubers, the men, they have started growing beards, and it seems to be, I mean, like due to COVID, maybe, I don't know. They can't get blades to shave.
Well, there's a joke going. There's a joke going around in my choir, and that because there are a number of people that haven't been out and had a haircut. So now there's this joke around COVID hair. There's a lot of people who have suddenly got really long hair, and then one of the directors actually shaved all of hers off during COVID because she wanted to find out what she looked like without hair. So there's all these jokes around 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 hair. So now I'm noticing that Javita is out in the YouTube land, and she says she said she agrees with me, but I'm not sure exactly what that was. I didn't see it in a timely manner, so I don't know. But then she said WA and J helped me a lot on goals. And then she says, hello, Jay. So I just didn't want to not pass that along. So we are, oh my goodness, look at the time. This certainly isn't a half-hour session, is it? So I don't know if there are other comments. Fred, do you feel like the last word this morning?
Can you hear me? Because my internet connection is not very good. So.
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right. Yeah, you resonated. There was so many buttons you pushed in this discussion. I'll try and keep it succinct. You mentioned coaching. Excuse me. Coaching seems to be proliferating. A lot of people in COVID said, oh, I got to do something, and they're coaching. So there's a whole new world of coaches coming up, and I think they need a lot of help. And of course, masterminds could help them. When you talk about competition, that also resonates with me. I believe you share, because I think what Jay said, even if you tell them how you did it, doesn't mean they're going to be able to do what you did, because that's you, not them. And so I believe you can share a lot. Maybe not your honey hole or your cranberry patch. Maybe that's going too far, but there's a lot you can share. And competition, actually, you will help them and they help you. And I really believe in cooperation and not competing so much. The other thing is meetings. I think the quality of meeting, like Paul said, if the meeting's a good quality, people will come. They will get zoomed out if they're terrible meetings and people don't know how to run a meeting. It brings back to mind the book Meetings Suck by Cameron Herold. It is a fantastic book.
Yeah.
A lot of the things you mentioned about people being included, you have to include people. And one technique he uses is you start with the most junior person, not the person who's been around a long time. Because by the time the most senior person speaks, the junior person's already mentioned 90% of what they would say. So let the junior people speak first. There's a lot of techniques in that book that are wonderful, and it's not a big book, but it's the best book I've ever seen about meetings. Meetings Sucked by Cameron Herold, a fellow Canadian, in fact. And the lastly thing I'd say is this is so timely for me. That's why I come here. I always learn something. I have a meeting tomorrow with Agora Speakers Ambassadors. And it's starting up these ambassadors around the world. I've been asked to be an ambassador for them in Canada and also for the youth program. But they need a lot of those items that you just mentioned, like a charter and respect and purpose and discussion. And I think, so this is extremely timely. A lot of what you
Oh,
said
good.
today resonates for everyone who wants to run masterminds. It's not just, oh, we're going to get together and chat. No, no, no. If that's where people don't want to be. They want to have a purpose. They want to have a charter. They want to, all those items you mentioned. So I think it was a fantastic discussion today. I really enjoyed a lot of what
Oh, well,
so
I'm
it
glad
was
it
very
was.
appropriate to me,
I'm glad it was timely.
very timely.
Right on. All right. So I think it's time that I pull this to a close because I need your input after we stop recording. So I will say we're going to stop recording, and with the reminder, it's important to do what you love with passion. And I can't tell you what next week is because I don't know yet. So with that, I will stop streaming so that, well, I'll go to outro, which is Alt 4.